Hello everyone, welcome to PN and L channel where we create content with practical IT solutions. If our videos are helpful to you, kindly subscribe to this channel. Click the thumbs up button and let us know in the comment section what you would like to see. In this video, we will be configuring lightweight directory access protocol over secure socket layer on Active Directory. This will be used in subsequent videos to authenticate Openstack identity services called Keystone. Integrating Keystone identity service with Active Directory allows users to be authenticated to allow access to Openstack resources. The advantage of integrating Openstack into Active Directory is that administrators will have a central place to manage users rather than creating users manually in Openstack and granting permissions individually. All the administrator needs to do is to add users to their respective groups based on organizational access policy. By default, LDAP communication between client and server applications are not encrypted. This means that it will be possible for someone to sniff the username and password while information is being passed or moved from one client, or moving from the client to the server. This is especially problematic when LDAP simple bind is used, because credentials and username and password are passed over the network unencrypted, which will lead to compromise of credentials. Okay, so the reason for enabling LDAP over SSL is that some applications authenticate with Active Directory through simple bind, which we mentioned earlier, and this is derived by using LDAP syntax and going up the tree, starting at the user component. So we're going to be using Kerberos, and credentials are normally sent in clear text, as we mentioned earlier again. So this is the reason why we are going to be encrypting LDAP communications in Windows network. Now let's dive in to use Active Directory certificate services to create certificates to be used for LDAP. So what we'll do is, in the Windows, I have a Windows server that is a domain controller, and we click on the Start button and we click on the Server Manager. And under the Server Manager, we will see the configure this local server, add roles and features, and some other configuration parameters. So, but for this certificates services that we're going to create, we're going to click on Add Roles and Features. On this page, we're going to click Next, and we select the default, which is role-based or feature-based installation. Then we click Next. And here we ensure that the domain controller is selected, which is here. This is my domain controller, and this is the IP address and the operating system. And then we click Next. So on this page, we're going to be installing the Active Directory certificate services. So we click on Active Directory certificate services and we click on Add Features, and we click Next on this page. Here there are no dependencies here that we require, so we click Next. And Active Directory certificate services, here it's displaying the information about what we're installing, and then we click Next. And we ensure that certificate authority is selected, and we click Next. Now this is now the confirmation of the selections that we chose previously, and then we click on Install, and and then we wait for the installation to complete. I'm going to pause this recording until the installation is complete, and then we come back. As we can see, the installation is now complete. Then we click on close. Now, after that, we'll see here, we'll see this notification icon here on the top right corner. We click on it. And then here we see the post deployment configuration for the Active Directory certificate services. So we now click on the configure Active Directory services on the destination server. So here we will see the credentials. If this does not appear automatically, you can click on the change button and then add your administrator credentials. Then we wait until it's going to allow me to click next. Okay, now it's available. I'm going to click next. And on this page, make sure you select the certificate authority. And click next. And ensure that the enterprise CA is selected, and click next. And select the default and click next. And here we're going to create a private key. So based on the PKI principle, there is the private key and the public key. We're going to create a public key here. If you have an existing private key, you can select this and use that private key. But for this video, we're going to create a new private key. Click next. So here I'm going to select this, but the default can be used, but I will prefer a longer key length and a higher hash algorithm. It's not compulsory that you choose this as I have done, but just for the fun of it, I'd like to use the 4096. Then click next. So here, these are the distinguished names that LDAP uses to authenticate. This is the top level distinguished name. So this, just select the default and click next. So here, some people decide to use 1 year depending on the organizational policy. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to just choose 5 years. Click next. And here, this is for the cert log. The cert log is for logs that are being used to, well, basically log access that is authenticated and denied. So then we click next. And this is the summary of what we have selected. And then we click on configure to configure the Active Directory certificate services. And configuration succeeded. And so we click close. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a certificate template. Now, in order to do that, we're going to press the Windows key on the keyboard and R, and we type in cert t mpl.msc and press enter or click OK. We wait for it to open. Oh, my bad. I think I typed in the wrong. Okay, there's a single T is missing, so I click OK. So as mentioned earlier, the Active Directory uses Kerberos. So we're going to use the Kerberos authentication, which is right here. So we're going to create a template for that, and we right click and we click on duplicate template, and we go to the general tab. So in the general tab, we will give the template give it a name. So I'm going to be using LDAP cert, and here again the validity period is 1 year. So for this video, I'm going to use 5 years. And then we select the publish certificate in Active Directory. The next thing, we go to the request handling tab and we click on allow private key to be exported. Next, we go to the subject name to ensure that the DNS name is selected. And then after that, we click OK or click apply, then OK. And the next step is we're going to issue the certificate template. So we click on the start button and we go to Windows Administrative Tools, we scroll up and we click on the certificate authority. So here we click on the arrow down button beside the server here, and then we right click on the certificate templates, click on new and certificate template to issue. So we scroll down and look for the certificate template we created earlier on, which is this right here, and click OK. So the next step is for us to request the certificates for the certificate template that we just created, which is the LDAP cert. So we press the Windows key again and R, and then we type in MMC, which is the management console, and then we go to the file menu and click on add and remove snapping, and then here we will select certificates and we click add, select the computer account, click next, and we click on the local computer radio button and click finish, and then we click OK. So now we have the certificate here. So we now click here and we click on personal, and then we right click on the certificate here and we click on new task and request new certificate. So we are requesting for a new certificate, and then here on this page we click on next, select certificate to enroll, we click on next, and then we wait. So as you can see here, the certificate template that we created earlier on is the LDAP cert. So we select that and then click on enroll, and that succeeded. Click on finish. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to export this certificate that we have created. So if you look at this here, so this is the certificate that we just created, which is the LDAP cert. And then we right click on it, and then we go to all tasks and then click on export. We click on next. Excuse me. We're going to click on the no, we do not want to export the certificate, and then click next. And we select this, the base 64 encoded x.509.cer, and we click next. And here we're going to give the certificate we want to export a name. So for me here, I'm going to go to documents and create a folder called Openstack, because this is where I'm going to be adding all the Openstack configuration files or whatever is needed for me to configure Openstack. So I'm going to type in Openstack /LDAP cert. And we click save, click next, and click on finish. And we are done exporting the certificate. So when we're ready to configure Keystone, we will use that certificate. We will copy that certificate to the Openstack controller node. So the next thing we're going to do before I end this video is to create Active Directory organizational unit, which is helpful for creating or separating, how will I say it, for separating different units in an organization. For example, HR, finance, and software developers, and so on and so forth. So the reason is because you don't want finance group to be able to access HR group or vice versa. So we're going to create different organizational unit for developers who are going to be working on the Openstack or accessing resources on Openstack. So in order to do that, we click on the Start button, we go to Windows Administrative Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers, and then we wait for it to show up, and then we click here. And so in this video, for me, I'm going to create the organizational unit under the top level domain. Rather, some people choose to add it to under users, but I would rather create it on a different tree. So what you do is you right click on the top level domain, you click on new, and you go to organizational unit and you click on it and you give it a name. So here my first organizational unit is going to be DevOps. Now here, protect container from accidental deletion. In a production environment, it is advisable, it is recommended to protect the container from accidental deletion or unintentional deletion from a malicious person. So here it is recommended to check this, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to uncheck this because it takes a bit of configuration to delete this permanently, and I don't want to go through the hassle of that at this point. So I'm going to uncheck this and I'm going to create the organizational unit and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to create another organizational unit called group. Organizational unit. So I'm going to check this again. I'm going to call these groups and click OK. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to create the groups, the software development, software developer groups. And so under these groups, I'm going to right click on the groups and click on new, and then I click on group. So the first group I'm going to create is Openstack group. And leave the rest as default and click OK. The next group I'm going to create is the software group. And click OK. So the next group I'm going to create is the admin group, which has access to all Openstack resources. So I'm going to click OK. And that's it for this video. I hope it is informative and it's going to help you understand how to create certificates in Active Directory to be able to um, integrate it with Openstack. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.